I'm Dave from Hamilton Motor Company. We're here with the 2014 to 2019 Toyota Highlander. We're about to install the Hamilton Motor Company upgrade kit for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Our system stands alone on the market. We pioneered this system that installs into the factory display. It's going to use your factory microphone, and it's going to add Apple CarPlay and Android Auto functionality right into that factory screen without changing the look and feel one bit. We use top quality chips in our products. We use a 2U chip in this one, and we have complete end-to-end design control over the hardware and the software of this, making sure that it's going to function as seamlessly as the original Toyota experience. Today we're going to do the install. We're also going to film two other videos. One will show you how to set up CarPlay and Android Auto, and the other will show you an overview of the kit and how to use it. So let's dive in and get going. We are in the hybrid version of the vehicle, so the 12-volt battery is in the back here. And we'll just go ahead and disconnect the negative battery cable from the 12-volt battery. Usually this will be a 10mm nut there, and you'll just loosen that and take it off. We'll make sure power is off to the vehicle. Taking the radio out on the Highlander is very simple. We'll use this pry tool to grab under this trim panel here. And we'll gently pop it free, and then you can just use your hands and support it as you go down the edge. You don't want to put too much pressure on any one area of it. And then we'll support it up into here and wiggle it free. Now there's going to be two harnesses to disconnect. Simply press down on the tab here, slide this one out, and then for this bigger harness here, lift up on the tab, and this one will come off like this. For the next step, we're going to remove this plastic trim piece here. You can use either a small pry tool or a credit card will work just fine. And just simply get under here, and then once again, we're just going to gently run along the edge of it and pop it free. You don't want to put too much pressure right here and crank it out. You want to just go along it, support it, pop it free. We'll set it in the back. With the trim panels removed, we're going to take out the left and right air vents. I'm going to use a towel to protect my hands. They're just clipped in. Just grab under it on the top and bottom and pop it free. We'll set that in the back, and we'll do the other one here. With that one free, we can now focus on removing the radio. There's going to be 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm bolts that we'll take off. I'll start over here. This is very simple. You will need an extension of some sort. I'm using 2 extensions for these ones that are really well deep in there. And what you're going to do is you're just going to loosen the bolt. And as it gets loose, you'll see in just a second, just reach in and you'll support the bolt as you take it out. Set them in the cup holder. With the 4 bolts removed, we'll use a towel and we'll support the factory radio from the bottom and simply lift it out at an angle like this. We'll come back here, press down on the clips one by one, and we'll free every wiring harness back here. This is like a jigsaw puzzle. You won't be able to put the wrong one back in the wrong spot when you go back to it. So you don't need to take a picture or anything like that. Now we've got this little 6-way harness I'll show you at the bottom. That's for the XM module. We don't need to remove that for right now. We're going to take this inside and I'll show you what we're going to do. We've got the unit taken out of the Highlander here. And as you can see, look right here, this is a Panasonic unit. About 99% of Highlanders have Panasonic. If you ever have one that's a Pioneer, just reach out to us. We'll get you a slightly different board, but I've never encountered a Pioneer Highlander, so 99% of them are Panasonic. Toyota contracted out the manufacturing of these units to Pioneer and Panasonic. What we're going to go ahead and do here is take a large Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to start removing these Phillips head screws on the side brackets. The Sirius XM module is here on the bottom. We'll take that out. We will be reinstalling it, so this car will have factory XM radio. A lot of aftermarket units cannot save the XM module if you replace the screen entirely, so that's one of the big advantages of doing one of these units that installs inside the factory screen, is you do get to save the XM module here. These screws are all the same. And as you can see, I've got some towels set down. We're going to be laying the screen face down in a second. We just want to make sure that we don't scratch it. You got to be very delicate. That's the one thing that I would say you really got to pay attention to. Make sure that you don't scratch the screen or you'll put it back in your car and be sad. Alrighty. Take those brackets off. Boom. Now we'll set the screen face down for just a second. We're going to go ahead and disconnect these three. Just press down on the top tab. That's the XM module. We'll set this aside. We'll put it back on at the end. Now I'm going to turn this. You'll be standing here when you're doing it facing the screen. I'll be doing it so you guys can see it. And I'm just going to use a small Phillips head screwdriver now. I'm going to take off a couple of these screws in the corners. 1, 2. And these screws, they're metal screws into plastic, so they can feel a little bit on the tighter side because your screws have been setting in the plastic for years. But they don't take that much force to get out. So we just finished removing 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws. Now there's one more covered by this piece of tape. I just took a knife and I cut it. If you're using a knife, be very careful that your fingers are not in the way of the knife. And then cut it just like that. Now, we'll take this off. There's a screw we're going to take off under here. You have a couple options. After you take this screw off, you can leave no tape on. The tape is definitely not required and it's not needed. Or you can put the same piece of tape back on if you choose not to cut it. Or you can cover it with any sort of household duct tape. So the choice is yours. Nobody's going to ever see it. And this tape is not necessary. Small Phillips head. Right down in that socket. Very easy. Set this one in a separate pile because it is slightly different. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clips. We're going to kind of just go around the perimeter. We're going to start freeing them and lifting the metal bracket part out of the clips. Just like that, they'll come free. Now, don't yank this away yet. Be very careful. You have 2 ribbon cables connected between these. So what we're going to do, I'll spin this around so you get a good view. You're going to reach in with your fingernail. Sometimes you need 2 fingernails if you have a helper. And you're going to support it with the top of your finger also. So the black bar doesn't just fly away. You want to keep it from flying away. So you're going to do a little prying motion, but you're going to support it with your finger there. We'll show you up close in just a second when we go to reconnect it. Now we've separated the head unit from the screen. The head unit separated from the screen, we're going to start removing a few screws here. These small Phillips head screws. And keep these in a pile separately from the ones you've already done. What I do, I just kind of start taking them out and I put them on the table and I have mental piles of what goes where. You could label them if you want, but many of these screws, you'd see if you tried to put one of the wrong ones back, it wouldn't really fit. So, and then once we've done all those perimeter ones, we're going to do these 2 right in here. And now we can separate the bracket from the head unit. Now we are preparing to install the Hamilton system. We're going to go ahead and put the XM box. This goes on the side opposite of the big sticker. Put the XM box here. We'll go ahead and put the Hamilton system lining up flush here. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to take a big piece of packing tape. And I'm going to tape the Hamilton system in place with the XM box. And this is going to allow us to keep everything in place as we do the ribbon cables. Now I'll flip it so the Hamilton box is on the bottom, Pioneer sticker pointing towards the air. We need to open up these two black bars and take out the factory ribbon cables entirely. So what I'm doing when I open these bars, you're going to use one fingernail and pry up, and just use your other thumb to keep that bar from flying off. Now the Hamilton system has these 4 ribbon cables, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have the Hamilton system on the bottom, Pioneer sticker in the air, you'll see the blue side of 2, the metal side of 2. The metal side goes towards the circuit board, blue sky points towards the air. So we'll take the smaller ones here, we'll fold them around, and in the ribbon cables, I'll show you in just a second on the other one, they have these notches. I'll show you quickly about the ribbon cables as we're putting this one in here. So we've got the blue pointing towards the sky, and you can see in the ribbon cables how there are these notches. The socket is going to have a corresponding notch with these. So you've got one is female, one is male. So on this one, the socket will have a little jut out, and on this one, the socket would have a little cut in. And we'll just make sure that we've got these each lined up in their notches, and once they're in their notches, it holds them in place pretty good. Now we'll close that black bar, and one thing you want to look for is make sure the blue line is parallel to the black bar, and that'll mean that you've got it in there the right way. If it's, not parallel, if the lines are not parallel, it means that it is not in there entirely straight, and you need to take it out and redo it. We are now going to reinstall the bracket. We'll thread these ribbon cables through the bracket. One of the things I get asked from time to time by our customers is, are we going to hurt the ribbon cables by pressing them through the bracket here? The answer is no. This is what ribbon cables are for. They're designed to run through tight spots. So we'll go ahead and pull all the slack through here. Then we'll line this bracket back up. If the wires are bothering you from the XM module, you can take the wires out. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put in the screws, just like we had them. We've got all the screws back installed. Let's go ahead and reconnect this bracket to the factory screen. We've got these other ribbon cables hanging out here now. 1, 2. The big one is going to go in here, the small one in there. It's going to have to get quite close for us to get these ribbon cables in. It may be helpful for you to have a second pair of hands while you do this, but basically, we're going to follow that same principle. If you choose not to install the XM module again, it makes the whole process easier. Or if you just want to take a look at my other video, you'll see exactly a close-up on how to do these ribbons. But it's just the same as the other. We're just lining up the notches. We're going to do the same thing, make sure we get the lines parallel. And once we've got them, we'll take this guy, we'll gently set them back in place. We'll go ahead and install these 4 perimeter screws and that one smaller screw. Now you may want to take a break while you've got just 2 of the screws in. That's what we're about to do. We're going to take a break here. We're going to go ahead and take the harness. We're going to take this out to the car, plug everything in, power up the car. We're going to test all our functionality before we get too far down the road. What that allows you to do is, if you have trouble, you can give Hamilton a call, 919-858-2890. Check out our forum, email us, whatever you need to do. We can help you get straightened out if you've missed anything or have any questions. So we're going to go check this in the car now. We'll be right back with you to finish up these screws. We'll put the brackets back on and be done. And found everything to be working just the way we wanted. So we'll finish putting the screws in place here. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you one of the things that makes our systems different from some of the others. We pioneered this method of installing it into the factory screen, and since there have been various knockoffs that have appeared, and that's how life works, there will be more and more of them. A lot of the cheap Chinese companies that are making knockoffs, they're using chips that you buy that are not genuine. So the internal ICs, you can buy either the genuines from the name brand companies, or you can buy knockoffs to save money, and it makes the whole thing a little bit cheaper. And that can cause over time weird irregularities and issues that crop up. One of the things that's our philosophy here at Hamilton Motor Company, we try to be the best value on the market. We strive to be the very cheapest. But more importantly to us than even that is we want to be the long-term value. So you've bought a Toyota that's, we're still driving cars. I drive a 4Runner that's 10 years old. And these vehicles are some of the best ever made. So we want these vehicles to last truly as long as they possibly can and have, up-to-date electronics that don't fail. Now we've left the packing tape in place up until this point. I leave it in place the whole time. You can go ahead and take it off now. What I do, I leave it in place and then I just cut the fan out at the end. So we have these brackets. We're going to go ahead and reinstall them now. These systems, sure, it's a little bit harder to put this box inside the screen, but the trade-off is it's a lot easier to install in the vehicle, which is very nice. There's not a lot to do with the wiring like there is on some of the Lexus vehicles. Just tighten these down. All right, I'll meet you back at the car. The wiring for this system is very simple. We have 3 parts. We'll show you this in just a second. We have 2 pigtails that will grab factory wires. This main wire is going to plug into the bottom of the Hamilton box. We have this antenna. This is a Wi-Fi Bluetooth antenna if you plan on using wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. And all of our systems come with wired and wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. You need to install this. It's fine to go anywhere behind the screen. It doesn't matter where. You don't need to do anything special with it. Then we have this accessory harness. This is going to plug into the Hamilton box. You're going to have quite a few things here that are not used. The only thing we're using here is the USB port for wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto. This is an option. You don't have to do it. We're going to install it on the tray here for this car, but you can put it wherever you'd like. Now, one thing to note with this, this system is already going to use your factory microphone and factory backup camera, so you don't need to worry about external mic, external backup camera, stuff like that. This system is going to use your factory. Let's get going. We have here our wired USB. We're going to put it right here. The way we're going to get it here, I'm simply going to press it through this trim. I'm going to slide it to the back. And then we'll take the remainder and we'll feed it up through here. And you don't have to put that USB there. You can put it wherever you like, and you certainly don't even have to install it at all. I'm going to put it back through there. And we'll just take this panel and we'll pop it back into place. So we've dropped this USB port back here. Now we're going to take it and we just got to route these wires and pull them through until they're on top here. Now we have these pigtails here. We're going to go ahead and pull out the factory wiring. This one with the large style connectors that looks like this guy here is going to plug right in. Then we have this one with the brown and the pink. Now these wires, you don't need to worry too much about the colors. It's about the size, and you'll see they will only attach to one wire. So we have this, and it's going to go in here just like that. Now you can pick up the radio, and we're going to reverse what we did originally. We're just going to go ahead and reconnect everything. In the case of these pigtails, you'll just plug the new Hamilton male into your unit. Like I said earlier, this is a jigsaw puzzle. It only goes together one way. pop this upside down for just a second here. This is the main Hamilton wire. For most Highlander systems, you want all dip switches off. If you ever do it incorrectly and you have the dip switches on and you have to change them, this wire has to come out before you adjust the dip switches, okay? This one, plug it back in here. Black antenna back to the Sirius XM box. Now we're getting close. This is the USB harness. It's gonna go to the right of the main one. Unused, unused. Connect the antenna. Take it and tuck it back in there. Now we'll flip this back the other way. Use one hand to press and organize the wiring as you put the radio back in. Then you'll line it back up on its tabs. It will be, if you included the XM module, which is optional, you don't have to put it back in. If you're like, I don't ever want to use XM. And we'll line it back up and press it back into the dash. If you don't reinstall that XM module, and you don't have to, this is a much easier fit. If you do reinstall the XM module like we have here, it is a relatively tight fit getting it into place. You might need somebody to help you push it into place while you tighten the screws. But the ideal thing is you want all 4 clips to go in, and then you're going to tighten the bolts down. We will now reinstall the air vents here and here. And we will reinstall this plastic trim panel. Now reconnect the main wiring harness here and the security clip here. We'll line this one back up into its socket and snap it into place. Don't forget to reinstall the negative battery cable on the 12-volt battery to restore power to the system.